Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Time!
Three on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game!
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni!
Float game for the win! Ayla's gone. Goodbye. Touchdown, Indy. Woo! IU. America. They got a football team now.
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Now, here's Jim Coyle.
Yes, it is Thursday. Glad to have you guys along. Glad to be with you. Thanks a lot for joining us. Hope your week's going well and you're staying dry because it's a little rainy out there today, but that's okay. It's spring. A little rain's going to come as long as the temperatures are rising, and they are. I love it. It's going to get up to 65 today. It's going to be rainy though. So had some thunderstorms last night, but you know what? That's this time of year, baby. That's okay. We'll deal with it. Big win last night by Indiana, a win that they needed. More importantly, a complete win, a full game effort in which they got off to a fast start and stayed that way. They did well in virtually every aspect of the game, especially Sam Alexis, Nick Dorn. They had quick starts getting going, and that's something that Indiana hasn't had. Lamar Wilkerson was not the leading scorer for Indiana last night. That Sam Alexis took care of that. But he had 17 first half points, 8 of 9 in the first half alone. He was on fire, couldn't be stopped. So, and Nick Dorn, he had early points early on. So the scoring was coming from others early. Connor Enright had another great game. I mean, all of the starters had a pretty good daggone game, to be honest with you. I don't have the stats pulled up exactly right in front of me right now, but Connor Enright was one that kind of stood out because let me get these stinking stats pulled up. Daggone it. I don't know why that they're not but anyway, he didn't score a lot, but he did everything else that he's supposed to do. He had assists. He had rebounds. He did what a point guard's supposed to do. You'd like to see him score a little more. That would make that team a lot better if he could. Minnesota is bad. There's no doubt about that. The one question I have, how in the hell did they lose to that team in the first time? That's a game that, boy, they're going to really wish they had back. I mean, you always have that. I get that. But that's how the hell did they lose to that team? But Sam Alexis, 23 points total on the night, 9 of 11 overall. He went 8 of 9 in the first half. So he only took 2 shots in the second half. I wonder why. Why do you change? Why not just keep going after it? Lamar Wilkerson ended the night with 16 points on 6 of 11 shooting, 4 of 7 behind the three-point line. Nick Dorn was 3 of 8 behind the three-point line, 4 of 9 overall. He finished with 11 points. Tucker DeVries, he has continued his resurgence with 13 points, shot 50% on the night. Reed Bailey scored 4 points. Connor Way scored. Trent scored. Connor Enright, 4 points on 2 of 4 shooting, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. Not a bad night. Not a bad night. But they're going to have to continue this. Now they have to go to Columbus. Take on an Ohio State team that is playing very, very well. Lamar's giving his mom a car. Well, that's nice. That's nice. Very, very cool. But yeah, just can they go to Ohio State and win? Can they? Yeah. But Ohio State's playing pretty damn well right now, to be honest with you. They have been on a surge that has been relatively surprising. They beat Purdue. Oh, you know what? What happened with I got to see the scores from last night. Purdue ended up coming back and beating Northwestern. They were trailing Northwestern at the half by 9. I mean, Purdue is not playing well right now. But just wanted to check on them. Yeah. Houston beats Baylor 77-64. Purdue gets that win. Arkansas, big over Texas. Arkansas, man, look out for John Calipari's team. They had 7, I think they scored 56. They had 72 points with 15 minutes to go in the game. I remember that. Miami over SMU. St. Louis is still winning. How about our boys down at Bellarmine getting a win over Jacksonville? Indiana, of course. Look and see if any other major wins. But look around the conference from last night. Ohio State with yet another win. They go into Penn State and just destroy the Nittany Lions. 94-62. Wisconsin handles Maryland. Washington destroys USC. 91-72. USC, one of those teams that's on the bubble. Boy, it's going to be fun. It is going to be fun to see who gets in, who doesn't get in, who makes a run in the conference tournament. Because everybody gets a shot at it, baby. Everybody gets a shot at it. Who's on your bubble? Who do you have in? Who do you have out? Do you have your own team in? Who's going to win? Who's going to win the national championship? I haven't even talked about that. Actually, you need to pull up the bracket matrix. That's the one that has every bracket that is, I don't even remember how many are in this thing. It's a lot. Where is the bracket matrix? Not sure if I can find that one or not, but where's India? See, and this Indiana's the 45th team. Well within the margins of making the tournament. Even though they're at 18-13. What's this up here? Okay, their percent to make to get a bid to the NCAA tournament right now, according to this bracket matrix, is 84%. Unbelievable right now. So things are not just dead just yet. Yeah, still, thanks, Chris. They still have them as an 11 seed, which is what they were prior to the win, which should solidify that a little bit more. I don't know what a loss to Ohio State will do if they were to lose at Ohio State. That's the question. That's the question. How's everybody else doing? How's everything else going on? How's you may not be an IU fan. Who's your team? Of Lou Holtz, man, passed away. The legend, the leprechaun. He was Notre Dame's own leprechaun when he was there, but man, oh man, was he a force of nature. Little guy had a lisp. Didn't matter. Dude got to the top. So, thinking of old Lou Holtz. Let's see. What else is going on? South Alabama. Oh, how about a brawl? Okay, I saw that there was a brawl. South Alabama and Coastal Carolina. Injures ref, forces 8 ejections. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I realized the first sentence, once I realized, a brawl between South Alabama and Coastal Carolina in the women's Sun Belt tournament on Wednesday left 8 players ejected and knocked a referee to the ground where she required medical attention. I was like, wow, women getting after it. Need to settle down a little bit. You don't need all that. It's crazy as enough as it is. But it's crazy time, baby, for men's basketball as we get closer and closer to the tournament. This weekend ends the regular season for everyone. And then the conference tournaments begin. Who's going to take advantage of that? In the SEC, I just mentioned the team. USC is a team that could probably use some help now, like Indiana. Could use a little help. They're all in that. Washington, how about Washington? Sneaky. They climbed up into they're in front of USC in the standing, or they're tied with USC and Minnesota in the standings in the Big Ten now. Wow. Indiana gets in over USC easily. Hey, let's take a break. Coach Griffith joined us next. Plenty more to get to. Glad to have you guys along. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Jim Coyle returns right after these messages.
Indiana football accomplished what no other team ever has. Big Ten, Rose Bowl, Peach Bowl, and CFP national champions. The Hoosiers have etched their name into the history books as the first 16-0 team in the modern era. A limited edition of only 5,000 commemorative national championship footballs has been released. 3 full panels embossed and stamped with every championship logo and fully licensed. Get your piece of history today at NICOsports.com. That's NIKCOSPORTS.com. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave & Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our all-new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch all your team's wins on a 40-foot screen and 30 HD TVs. And level up with the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game. Private game suites, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's on 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. A little rainy out there, but that's okay. The temperatures are rising. Jim Coyle with you as always, joined now by Coach Shannon Griffith. And, the Combine is come and gone. A lot of action happened out there. We'll see who stock rose. One that is without question was Omar Cooper.
Oh, yeah.
He was the talk of the town, it seems like, throughout the Combine. And also Kalon Black, who did not get an invite to the Combine. That was a snub, but he was or is scheduled to go to New York. Maybe he is there today right now, I think, and with meeting with them, but he'll be meeting with other teams. There's no question. That dude is too good. What differences did you see between Roman Hemby and Kalon Black?
I think the biggest difference in my mind, a plus for Kalon in this regard, I think Kalon really runs the ball aggressively. You know, he is a bulldozer type of running back. I
called him a fire truck with a jet engine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean he's just a guy that puts in the work. You can tell, and you know he would be a great, I think a great pro in the sense that I think his utilization will be quite extensively because he's a guy that can play special teams and play him pretty well because of the way he plays the game. And I think that's the type of guy NFL guys look for in an athlete type of a position as a running back, making them multifaceted in terms of them being able to play different spots on the special teams.
Yeah, and that's a lot of places where guys are going to find spots, but there are going to be plenty of guys that do not get drafted that sign contracts, NFL contracts. I mean, a number of guys. There could be up to, 15 Indiana players off of that team signed, which that sounds like a crazy number, but you've got 9 that went to the Combine, which I'm not sure all 9 get drafted, but they'll get signed. Mm-hmm. And then surely another 4 or 5 will be signed as undrafted free agents, I would imagine.
Yeah. Well, you take a guy like E.J. Williams, you know, he's got the prototypical size and height and that NFL teams look for in a wide receiver. And while his college days were a little up and down because of the injury bug, you know, this past year, you know, he finally found some consistency. And I think there'll be a team that'll, you know, like I said, take a shot on him in terms of a free agent contract type of setup. So you got to feel like he's going to have an opportunity in all of this. And, you know, Kamara, we can go right down the road. The one question will be Stephen Daly, I think, whether or not he's going to be a guy that will be healed by the time that all rolls around.
And that's a shame because that
Oh,
dude
yeah.
had become a beast.
Yeah, and he probably would have been a draft pick in my book in terms of his,
after his season he was having and
Right.
probably would have continued to have.
Right. And just a, unfortunate thing. But yeah, I think there's a legit opportunity for Indiana to have that 12 to 15 guys sign free agent contracts and get opportunities to get a shot in the league. And I mean, between the guys that are drafted and the guys that are signed as free agents, that 12 to 15 number. So, yeah, I think like you had said before, Omar Cooper had a really good showing. You got to feel like his showing was good. I think D'Angelo probably helped his stock a little bit in that regard, just because there's always going to be the height issue with him. And but I thought his performance was pretty darn good. And
what about his performance made it good?
I just think the way he shows his ability to change direction, his ability to catch the ball for the most part, things of that magnitude.
I call him Velcro, man. His nickname should be Velcro.
Right. And, I just think, he has all the intangible things that has made him what he's, become at the collegiate level, and overcoming his size. He's played, so good that there's still going to be the naysayers that say that he's not a capable, quote unquote, every down cornerback in the NFL. But I think he did himself well. And I think he probably, was probably really good in the interview portion of that, of the combine, where they got a chance to really sit down and talk to the kids. So all those things go into it, but I do think he helped himself in that regard.
He's just a superb athlete, man.
Mm-hmm.
And just, he does things that a guy his size shouldn't be able to
Right.
do. And you get past that. You're like, okay, forget about the fact that he shouldn't be able to do it. He does it. And that's what they love about him. And they're going to draft him because they're like, okay, I don't care. This dude can just freaking play. And that's the case. I mean, you would think that his tape does enough to show that, but he's one as well. But there are many others. Aiden Fisher. Who else? Did anybody else raise their stock?
I don't know if any of them raised their stock per se. I don't think anybody lost ground in that regard. I mean, if you looked at, how they view Fisher and, in Roman Hemby and all those, they look at those guys to be late round draft picks. And I don't think that's uncommon with where those guys sit at. Now, I was surprised that Elijah Surratt didn't do more. I don't know if he's battling some injury or what that may be, but he didn't really participate in a lot of the like 40-yard dash and things of that matter. But I don't think anybody lost ground in the overall equation of it. But I don't think anybody overly, other than Omar Cooper, really rose their stock at the combine per se. I just think it's going to be one of those things with, do those other guys fit needs that they're going to become a draftable player? And that will be the thing to be, that will have to be seen when draft rolls around, because you just never know.
You never know. That's for sure. But it is going to be a nice commercial for Indiana, but they're not going to, don't get crazy, people, and think that this is going to be like Ohio State or someone like that who has that amount of players drafted. It's not. It's just it's a boost for Indiana, but they're not going. I mean, when you consider these other large programs, they're still far away from those numbers, but that's okay. That just proves further how incredible that 16-0 run was, because it was accomplished over teams that had better players. Period. End of story. And by better players, I mean they're higher rated talent. But as a team, Indiana was unbeatable as a team. It's amazing. It just goes to show you how, if things are all working in the same direction for a common goal, you can reach that freaking goal by not being as good individually. And this was a team that was not as good individually. If you take them apart, I mean, last night, Isaiah Bones Jones and Charlie B from Nashville, Tennessee were signing autographs before the game, the basketball game. And I took a picture, to post it, but I'm sitting there looking at him. I'm like, these are the two of the main players. And if you were to look at them, you don't see that. You don't see NFL player. And I'm not, my point is, it just goes to show again how incredible they were as a team. Now, Charlie B is going to play in the NFL. I think dude is just he's a freak of nature. But when just to look at them, you don't see that, where, a lot of times you look at a guy and be like, oh yeah, you can tell he's an NBA player. He's an NFL. It's just amazing to me.
Yeah. I mean, this team this past year, I guess you could say, was on a mission. And sometimes when teams are on a mission, regardless of how much talent they do or do not have, are ultimately hard to beat, because, like you had alluded to, everybody's fighting for the same thing on that team. And I don't think it was, game after game, you could pinpoint times in a game where this team kind of willed itself to a win in some respects. And so those are the hardest teams to beat. It doesn't matter how good you are. They're just, when you get a team that's on a mission, and Indiana was certainly on a mission, you could see how much they were hard to beat. They were going to have to beat themselves. And that's the one thing they don't do. They don't beat themselves. And, after last year kind of being slighted afterwards by saying they didn't deserve to be in the college football playoffs, I think that got under the skin of those kids, and they used it as a means to motivate them in the offseason and through the year. And they proved themselves that they were worthy of that, and they were worthy of being the national championship this year, because they beat everybody who was in front of them. And it didn't matter what that team was or how highly rated they were. They beat whoever they put in front of them.
Yeah. Now the question for me is, how far can this go? They haven't lost a regular season game, since Ohio State 2 seasons ago, right? In Sig's first season. That's the last regular season game, and only a regular season game they have lost. But so now you wonder, all right, they have the longest home winning streak. They have the longest winning streak in the country, both of those. Well, that's going to continue guaranteed for the first 3 games into the season. But then you wonder, all right, so everyone will look forward to that Ohio State game, to whether it continues then or not. That's going to be a gigantic game. But of course, we've got a long time before then. But I'm like, wow, this thing can continue. They're going to be good next season. Very good. They're going to be CFP good. I see them in the CFP. So there's that.
The biggest thing they're going to have to contend with is they're going to go from being the hunter to being the hunted each and every week, where everybody has circled Indiana. And there's nobody on that schedule that hasn't got a big asterisk by their Indiana's name than Ohio State. And like you said, that'll be a monumental ball game. But that's going to be the new thing that Indiana is going to have to deal with, is they are now going to be the hunted. They're going to get everybody's A game, and they're going to have to, fight each and every week like they did this year from a different perspective. And that's the perspective of a team that is the top dog in the college football, having been the national champions the previous year. And that's going to be the huge difference that this team will face. Now, a lot of the team that fought through those 2 years to get to the national championship have moved on. And you got a lot of new guys that come in that won't have any per se idea of that, other than the fact that they'll feel it that first few weeks of the season when they're playing those first 3 games, that you're going to get everybody's A game. And if you do not play up to your level, you're going to get beat. And that will be the biggest challenge for this team, is how they react and to being the hunted this college football season. And again, I don't think one thing that Coach Cignetti is very good at is preparing a team to play, regardless of whether they are the hunted or the hunter. I think he's the guy that can prepare a team as good as anybody in college football.
Coach Griff with me right now, Jim Coyle, and more coming up. Speaking of Indiana football, they've got all the trophies on display today. That's at the Student Union in Bloomington on the IU campus. I think I don't know what time it runs. It runs until 6 o'clock. I'm not sure when it starts, but they're going to have the national championship trophy, just all of them, the Heisman, everything will be there for people to go see, touch, get your pictures taken with it, I believe. So you can go check that out. Hey, we've got more coming up. Appreciate you being with us on this rainy Thursday. Jim Coyle's back with more right after these messages.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC. Local lives here.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Dave & Buster's Bloomington is the place to eat, drink, play, and watch. Enjoy half-price games every Sunday through Thursday, a new menu to dig into, and next-level upgrades like private game suites, the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's Bloomington, 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. Yes, it is a little rainy out there, but that's okay. It's not spring yet, but it's heading in that direction. It's going to feel like spring tomorrow, I believe. Did I not see today? 78. I mean, so wild to go from our weather. We live in the area where the weather is just wonky, man. 78 today, back to 67, then 62, then up to 74, then 77, then 67. Let's just do the 15-day forecast. Let's see what lies ahead now that we're in March. We're in March, baby. Yeah. 78 on this Friday, and a week later, 57 for the high. So, and then back down into the 40s after that. Yeah, so it ain't here just yet, baby. It's on the way. Baseball, softball's going on. Major League Baseball is happening. Boy, JD would love to be talking about that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. First, let's hear from Coach Darren Devers after last night's beatdown of Minnesota. They just took care of the Golden Gophers from the start.
Who just sitting here, you're up 15 at halftime, and your message was just to kind of keep hammering away, to just not relent. And you said, it was even to the point of tracking basically every single media timeout segment. Just how proud were you tonight, I guess, of the way kind of once your team got its foot down on the pedal, it didn't seem to let up, other than that little stretch there in the first half.
Yeah, and it's something, to be honest, we talked about all year. We just haven't been able to always do it. But it's, I was proud of the guys. We talked a lot about, hey, that lead is at 15, and being able to extend it and push it out so you don't get in a situation where it's down to 8, with 14 minutes to go in the half, and now you're in a fight. So I thought the guys, really had a complete 40 minutes tonight, from start to finish on both ends of the floor. I thought defensively, that was about as good and connected, I thought, as we had been, just with our communication and taking away, some of the things we felt like we needed to do to limit them. And, so that was a really good performance, and I'm happy for those seniors to go out the way they did tonight.
Yeah, speaking of your seniors, obviously a number of guys contributed, but I just wanted to get your thoughts on Sam Alexis and the game he played and just the force he was in the interior, especially early.
Yeah, Sam was great. I mean, he was someone with their zone that we wanted to really try to focus in on, trying to throw it in there, let him play on an island one-on-one, because they hadn't doubled much on the interior, so we thought we could get in there and let Sam go to work a little bit and then space our shooters out around it. But he's been playing at a high level here for the last few weeks, and certainly showed that again today.
Yeah, did you, with the losing streak, did you do anything different or, try to shake things up at all, or just everything was consistent? And did you sense anything from the players in terms of, trying to get them loose a little bit? I mean, did you feel them feeling pressure at all kind of at this point in the season?
No, like we talked about it. It was just the next game for us. Obviously added importance with senior night and you got family and things. But our whole message is just keep preparing and put yourself in the best position possible to go out and play well. And they did it again, and we're able to, like I said, complete that full 40 minutes tonight. So that was good. Also, I thought offensively they moved it, shared it, really got us in some good spots, got some good looks from the perimeter.
Yeah, on Lamar, last spring when you watched him, I'd imagine you knew he could score, right? Are there ways he's surprised you from when he arrived here to now? Just how much has he helped us, whole group this year, in your opinion?
Yeah, he's been great. I would say if he surprised me, it would be his ability at this level to be able to get into the interior of the defense, get to his mid-range, getting a little bit more of his post-ups. He started to utilize that a little bit more late in the year. We all knew he could shoot it. We knew that would translate, at any level. But the other things that he's been able to do with being a really big, featured part of the scout every night has been pretty impressive. You get through this league for 20 games and put the numbers up with the type of attention that he's getting every night. And I think it says a lot about his versatility as a scorer.
You had 2 long embraces with Tucker and Connor both before the game and when you took them out. How important are those guys? How bittersweet was it, those two guys from the class of 2021?
Yeah, I mean, it's been, I would say, really important for us to have two guys that understood, the system when you got a whole new team and all that. And they started out together as roommates, at Drake. So, certainly a special moment there for them, for me as a dad, so, yeah.
How about that reaction from Darren Devers there? As you can see, he got choked up when asked about his son Tucker. And so he said, I should have let that roll because actually he said, yeah, it happened once. I'm not going to give up on it now. That was kind of funny.
Coach, I know it was a tough stretch there with the 4 games.
That's not the question, but he was asked about it. He said, no, I fought through it all day and damn it, I'm not going to give up on it now. And he meant fighting through the emotions. I mean, you can literally, as you just heard, when you were in the room, I could feel the lump in his throat that talking about the end of his son Tucker's career. So very cool to see there. But now this team has to just focus on taking care of business, man, and they can if they do what they need to do. But it's going to be a tough ask on Sunday at Ohio State. The Buckeyes have risen quite well in the standings. As a matter of fact, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th. They're 8th in the Big Ten. That's pretty damn good. 11-8 is their conference record. 19-11 overall. That's only 1 game better than Indiana, I think. Yeah. That's 1 game better than Indiana. That's it. Their conference record. They've got better conference wins. They just pulled off a Q1 win over Purdue, who was, like I mentioned earlier, they seem to be struggling a little bit. But yeah, some teams have moved up. Washington, they're right behind Indiana in the freaking Big Ten standings. I'm like, where the hell did they come from? In front of USC. I don't see USC making it in. And they have been in. They're 18-12. They've been in a lot of projections so far. But I 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Indiana's 10th in the league, and I see the Big Ten getting 10 in. If they lose to Ohio State, that would make them 8-10 in the conference. Has a team ever made the NCAA tournament 2 games below 5 with a 2 games below 500 Big Ten record? I'm sure it's happened. Doesn't happen very often, and it didn't happen very often before. Now you've got this many teams. There's 18 teams, so it's a little easier for that to happen. And their metrics numbers, again, are still good. So we shall see. Rick asking, what do I make of the Lewis Moore situation? I'm not sure what that is, other than, is that still talking about the situation where the NCAA had said blah, 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 that nothing's going to happen? If that's what you're talking about, I'm not sure. Unless something has happened here of late that I'm not up to date on, which is very possible. Rudy thinks that Josh Hoover's going to win the Heisman. You know what? Of course it's a possibility. It's a great possibility. He comes back to college as having thrown for the most yards than anybody in college football. So yeah, and he's going to play for Kurt Cignetti, and he's going to play for a top-ranked team. So, yeah, I agree with that. And he's a hell of a quarterback. So, yeah, Texas kid. Yeah, I agree that he could win the Heisman. But I also agree with, oh man, somebody else put up a comment, and I'd like to get back to it, that said that they think that a lot of people have already penciled in Arch Manning as the Heisman winner. He is already the Heisman favorite. He hadn't done jack squat, but he's the Heisman favorite. Again, how do you make something, anyone, a team, a person, a favorite because you think? Not because they've done, but because you think. Haven't we seen this enough? Penn State, Clemson, Texas, last year, number 1, number 2, number 4. No. It just drives me insane. I've gone on and on about it. It's ridiculously. Mike DeCourcy talks about it. It's ridiculously stupid. But yeah, it does put. I think it does put. It puts things in voters' minds. I'm a Heisman voter. It doesn't put anything in my mind as far as that. I'm like, dude, how about we wait till the football season starts and they play games and you actually see what an individual or a team does. So, but yes, I agree. I think Josh Hoover stands a damn good chance. I think he has to be one of the favorites to win the Heisman right now. He should be the favorite over Arch Manning for multiple reasons. Number one, and this is pure and simple, he's a better quarterback. Number two, he's proven he is a great quarterback. Number three, he's got to go play for the coaches who just produced the latest Heisman Trophy winner, produced a quarterback before that is in the NFL. Josh Hoover will be going to the NFL. Indiana is going to become a quarterback factory. Purdue is known as the cradle of quarterbacks. And they've had some good ones come out of there, no doubt. And this is a different situation. Those guys were 4-year players. They were recruited and produced. So, and you can't take that away, and it's a different scenario. And I'm not going to compare the two. I'm not fighting that title. I think that it was earned. That was earned. Mike Phipps, Drew Brees, Dad got greasy. But Indiana is going to become, I think Indiana becomes quarterback U. How about that? Quarterback U. It's going to become the place where quarterbacks want to go to become a winner. Now, my question is this. Well, I forgot my damn question. Oh, no. I need somebody to remind me of things like what I'm thinking. How does Indiana continue to recruit quarterbacks when you play guys that have starting experience? And I get it. It's the system is set up. I would take freaking full advantage of it. But the only reason I see a quarterback coming to, say, a place like Indiana out of high school as a recruit is just to go get a year or two or three of tutelage and then move on to someplace and go try to become a starter, because it's not going to happen at Indiana likely, unless they have just overflowing talent. You need starting experience to start for Indiana now. And so I think that we will continue to see this strategy. And why would you not? It is the great way to go. Find guys that have started, that understand, that have dealt with dealing with defenses and have that kind of a mind, and then bring them in and make them better. I definitely think it's going to be a quarterback legacy, but it's not as if, like I said, it's different in the aspect of recruiting them, developing them, and playing. So, what is your Kelly? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Kelly says it's not happening. Quit wishing. Quill could be talking about somebody else. I don't know, but yeah. Why? If you're a freshman, I'm only going there to get tutelage, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, you're going to be on a great freaking program. You're going to get the best. It's like going to a good school. If you want to be whatever you want to be, you go to as good a school as possible. Well, why would you not go? Yeah, I can see guys going to Indiana as a quarterback just to get the tutelage and then leaving and going off and fighting for a starting job somewhere. Alberto Mendoza will be doing that very thing at Georgia Tech. Got his tutelage in. Now he's going to go be the man someplace. No, Trent Green did not win the Heisman for Indiana, someone asked. Indiana has never had a Heisman Trophy winner. Anthony Thompson should have been, but he got screwed out of that. So there's that. Yes, Sig has built a juggernaut quickly and without question. Fernando Mendoza at Indiana, I'm not sure on the question. If you're talking about what I just said, never having a Heisman Trophy winner until now, was what I was saying. No previous Heisman Trophy winners. No, should have had. But they didn't. So there's that. But that's okay. The fact that we're talking about football in March is amazing. But it's great. It gives us multiple things to talk about. Basketball's still fighting for their life. And it's good to see it. I think that they make the tournament. I think they end up making it. The Big Ten has been such a strong conference this year. And Indiana has done a lot. If they were to beat Ohio State, that's a definitive in. That would leave them at 10-10 in the conference. Definitely would put them in. I think they make it anyway. I really do. But we'll see. Man, this stuff's getting harder and harder to predict. The bubble, it also depends on what other teams do. We got to forget about that. It's not just what you're getting done. Can this team rise up and do what they have to do when they need to do it? I mean, going to Ohio State, yeah, it's a tough ask. Okay, it's a tough ask. How about go overachieve it and get it. Just get it done. Daniel says he was impressed with IU last night. Sure wish they would have played like that all year. Yeah, part of it was because of who they were playing, let's be honest. That's a weak team. How in the hell they lost at Minnesota? It's beyond me. I mean, boy, that team doesn't have much. Indiana handled them easily. And they're going to end up, I thought that they would do a little bit better than this, to be honest with you. Not a lot. I wasn't expecting a lot more than this. As a matter of fact, had they beaten Minnesota the first time like they should have, and had they not lost to Northwestern at home like they ungodly should not have, those two games alone would put them one game over 500 in the Big Ten Conference and would have given them a 20-10 record. Beautiful. That is, think about it. You're 20-10. You're over 500 in the Big Ten. You're golden. 2 games. Northwestern at home and Minnesota on the road. Those 2 games. Yeah. It's now you can point to those 2 games, but then there's other things that, they didn't rise up to win Nebraska. Could have won, shoulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda. I mean, yeah, there's things this team could, even with their deficiencies, and they have deficiencies right now. We know that. But we'll see how they go. I think they do fine. Hey, let's take a quick break. We've got more coming up. Back with it and more right after these messages.
Indiana football accomplished what no other team ever has. Big Ten, Rose Bowl, Peach Bowl, and CFP national champions. The Hoosiers have etched their name into the history books as the first 16-0 team in the modern era. A limited edition of only 5,000 commemorative national championship footballs has been released. 3 full panels embossed and stamped with every championship logo and fully licensed. Get your piece of history today at NICOsports.com. That's NIKCOSPORTS.com.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC. Local lives here.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Dave & Buster's Bloomington is the place to eat, drink, play, and watch. Enjoy half-price games every Sunday through Thursday, a new menu to dig into, and next-level upgrades like private game suites, the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave & Buster's Bloomington, 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. It's a little rainy out there. Appreciate you being with us. Indiana took care of Minnesota, last night. Afterwards, the leading scorer of the game, Sam Alexis and Nick Dorn, spoke with reporters. Let's hear what they had to say.
Winner, that crowd, as loud as it was, just clapping as you guys, got to walk off the floor there at the end.
I mean, it felt good, just senior night, my last game at Assembly Hall. So it just felt great to see the fans out there cheering, supporting us.
Nick, I think this is like 6 games in double figures and 8 for Sam. We've talked so much about your guys' ability to shoot the 3 this season, but how much does it help with balance and with court spacing when you've got a post presence like what he's been providing the last few games?
Oh, it does a lot for us. It really opens up everything as well because they kind of have to send 2 to help him, and it just leaves mismatches on the backside, just able to get even cleaner looks.
Yeah, Sam, when you get going like that, what are the things that lead to it, and just sort of what's it like when you really get that rhythm, the alley-oops, the dunks, the back downs?
I mean, it's just my teammates fighting me, coach setting up plays for me in the post. I mean, I feel like once I get it, it's like I'm going to score, so, yeah.
How do you guys sustain this now? Obviously, another big game coming up this weekend. What's the key to kind of keeping this rolling right now?
I mean, just coming to practice every day with the same mindset we've been having the last couple of days, just have great leadership with the team and high intensity in every practice we do.
Yeah, along those lines, how much have you guys kind of read into the bubble talk in the NCAA tournament, and how has that affected the approach to the game today?
I mean, we see it on social media, but we just focus on what's ahead of us. Like, we focus on getting these wins, and whatever happens, happens.
Sam, did you feel like a sense of urgency as a team tonight to end not only the 4-game losing streak, but also come out here in your last game in Assembly Hall and get a win?
I mean, yeah, I feel like all the seniors had was motivated today just off of the fact, it's senior night, last game in Assembly Hall, stuff with like being in March Madness, the bubble and stuff. So everybody was pretty motivated to go play hard.
Nick, just how important are these next few practices leading up to Ohio State, leading up to the Big Ten tournament?
We know we had to pay extra attention to detail and just keep rolling with the punch, rolling with the game plan that Coach provides us, and just trying to execute that to the best of our ability.
And Nick, off that, I mean, big game coming up there, but just with the way you guys have been playing coming into this, how big is it to kind of flip the momentum and have a game like this going into those, the next few days of practice as opposed to, continuing the slide?
Oh, it feels good. Just to be able to flip it around now, it just gives a lot more momentum going into Ohio State and on from there, just giving us more motivation to keep pushing, and everything's right in front of
us. Nick over here, your ability to kind of score and be able to kind of regain your shooting rhythm, how much of a confidence boost is that heading into the last regular season game?
It's a lot. I mean, just seeing a couple go down, especially did a lot for me, just giving me more confidence to keep shooting the ball, keep getting them up, and just thinking that every shot's going to fall. So.
Last question in the back, Anthony.
This is for both of you guys. Can you talk about just the level of just focus and motivation you guys had, not letting a big lead get away, which we have seen in the past, but how determined were you guys to make sure you can just close the door and get this win here?
I mean, in the second, halftime, coach was like just preaching about let's first 4 minutes, let's attack the first 4 minutes because the last couple of games we let the lead come down to it. So we was just like different mindset today. So I mean, hopefully we do it every game now. So.
Like you said, we broke it down 4 minutes at a time. So after each media break, media timeout, we assessed how much we won or lost that segment. We just got to go focus on the next 4 minutes and just put together 20. So.
That was it. There was the players talking last night, Nick Dorn and Sam Alexis. And I know sometimes when you hear some of these answers, the first thing that pops into your head, you're like, well, why aren't you always in that mindset? Why aren't they always ready to play? Why isn't every game, especially in the Big Ten, considered a big game? I've just never understood the, oh, well, we weren't ready to play. We didn't come out ready to play, or, this. I'm not talking about this game. I'm not talking about anything per se that these guys said. It always just cracks me up. I'm like, why would you not always like, oh, you're paying more attention to this game than that game? But there you go. So James or Andrew says that beating the Buckeyes is imperative. Yeah, it's pretty important. I don't know if that's the make or break game, but I mean, it appears that way. Let's be honest. And if you do lose that game, I'm not sure you deserve to be in the tournament, but there's a lot of other teams that don't deserve it anyway. So it's a weak bubble. Again, weak at the bottom. But and you know what we should do? Why don't we just add more teams so all of the weak teams can get in? What are we doing? Giving everybody a trophy. Aren't you trying to determine the best? So, yeah. Brian says there are 32 teams that don't deserve it. I don't think I'd go that far, but I've said it before. I'll say this. There are going to be 20 teams minimum, at least a third of the tournament entries have zero chance of winning it. Now, you can say that there's always, if it's the Indianapolis 500, there are going to be certain cars that probably have zero chance to win. If it's the Kentucky Derby, you're going to, well, boy, that's not the case there. Anybody can win in that damn race. 50-1 shots come in. But it's, you know what I'm saying. You're picking up what I'm laying down. But it's just the importance of making the tournament is, who is it important for, to be honest with you? Who is it really important for? And I'm not saying that it's not a big deal to make it. And I'm not saying that my point is, whether they make it or not this season, what is that going to change for this team going forward? Not much. You know what? They're going to have to focus on nothing but building next year's team, building a winning team, building a team that can not only get to the NCAA tournament, but do damage. Do damage in the Big Ten. That is what has to be built this offseason. That is what has to be built by Ryan Carr and Darren DeVries. And there are zero excuses after next season. Zero. They have a GM in place now who is busy at work. But here's the thing. It's not like you can scout, I guess, but you have zero idea of who is going to be available for you to go after. I guess you can set everything else up in advance, or here's what our needs are. Exactly. We need this. It kind of reminds me, in a way, of Moneyball, the movie with Brad Pitt. He decided that they had no money. They're the bottom of the bottom. Or as he said, there's the Yankees and all these teams, and then there's 100 feet of crap, and then there's us. I love that. But he says we can't. He said if we try to compete with the Yankees out in here, we will lose to the Yankees out there, meaning on the field. And what his meaning was, that's boy, damn it, Fred, that's that's probably the best line in the movie. He mentions Fabio, and about 2 minutes later, while the conversation has moved past that, some old man, you can hear him say, "Who's Fabio?" Anyway, the point is, he knew that they could not compete with the Yankees from a money standpoint. And I'm not saying Indiana, that's their problem. I'm just making a comparison. You have to plan on how you're going to build the team, however that's going to be. The best way to build it, in my opinion, is to get the best damn players, period. I read something great from Evan Miyakawa. He's been on with us before, and he's one of those guys that he just stats and but stats produce a lot of truth. Numbers don't lie. They are what they are. And the line that I read, in 80% of a team's future success is determined before the season starts by the quality of their roster. And he has graphs to show you that this is what their roster was predicted to produce at the beginning of the season. And here's what all of these rosters produced. Most are where they're supposed to be. Most are exactly where they were expected to be. Indiana is where it was expected to be. So, you know what you have, and you know what your season's going to be like. And that number that Evan Miyakawa had, I wish I'd love to get him back on with us. But what that number says is your future is pretty much determined on where you're going to be. And it is the exact opposite of what Indiana football did. Exact opposite. And that's a question. Oh my God. He doesn't do football. It's probably too much because of so many players and so many variables. Where basketball, you can really, there's 5 guys on the court for a team. You can break it down a lot easier. But yes, Fred, you're not lying. Sports talk shows are more fun when teams win. But ISBR is always fun. Love you, brother. Appreciate you. Dadgummit. What was I saying? But yeah, it's you just, the future's determined. So Indiana's future for next season, long story short, will be determined at the start of the season with their roster. We knew what this team was. There's no reason for anybody to complain right now. We knew what they were. We knew where they were going to struggle. And now they're on the bubble. So it is what it is. Hey, we've got lots more coming up. Jamie Shaw from On 3 will join us. Appreciate you. Back with more Indiana Sports Beat Radio right after these messages.
Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISB Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemoreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave and Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our all-new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch all your team's wins on a 40-foot screen and 30 HD TVs. And level all up with the high-flying human crane that puts you in the game. Private game suites, our exclusive arena, and more. Only at Dave and Buster's on 731 South College Mall Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Thursday. A little rainy out there, but that's okay. Jamie Shaw from On 3, Rivals with us now. I can't see him, though. He's in camo. Is that camo?
Yeah, man, something like that.
How you doing, buddy? It's been a minute.
Been a minute, man. Things are good. Basketball season is here, so it's been very busy.
It's here, all right. It's about to be gone. And for me, I was like, wow, football season didn't end until late January. So I'm like, wow, now we've already got the end of basketball. It's nuts.
Is Indiana officially a football school now?
They're trending in that direction, especially after what we talk about today. I mean, they're definitely a bubble team. They may be the most bubbling team on the bubble. But the funny thing is, the metrics love them. Their numbers, all of their numbers have them in, even which by the eye test, I'm like, yeah, any other year, I'm like, I don't see how they'd get in. I mean, how does that team get in? But it's the other teams around him. It's a weak bubble. So there are other teams that may just be weaker is the only thing. Plus the Big Ten being strong has helped. There are just, and you can always do this, I know, but golly, you beat a team last night the way they beat Minnesota, and you're like, how the hell did you lose to that team on the road? It's just like ridiculous. And then you lose to Northwestern at home. Those 2 games alone puts that team at 20 wins and over 500 in the Big Ten. You're a lock. Yeah. But it just the funny things that how it's gone. But it's also this team. Boy, you talk about a tight rotation, man. It really got tight down the end of the season. They're one of those teams, well, like Minnesota last night. They played like 7 guys, period. But it's been a fun season. Basketball, it's been spread out. The Big 12 and the Big 10 are the kind of the kings. The SEC just was so dominant last year. And then I think it's part of the new era that the reason they're not the dominant conference this year is that's how it's going to be. Next year, it might be the SEC or it might be the ACC. I think we're going to see this a little bit of a constant churn of who's at the top because of the transfer portal, and I love it.
Yeah, it's been fascinating to see. I mean, obviously, talking with the Big Ten and stuff, what you see with that conference right now is obviously the team's really good, but you're also seeing a lot of guys who came back, a lot of really, really good players like the Braden Smiths of the world and Jeremy Fears of the world. Iowa bringing in McCollum with Bennett Sturts, and you just have a lot of those teams and players that are veterans and used to each other and very good. And then you're coming in, with this Indiana team, kind of Darren Devers, what's he going to bring? What's that going to look like? Putting together an entirely new roster. And it's had its ups and it's had some shaky moments as well. But I think what we've seen now from DeVries looking forward to the future is what he wants, how he wants to play, what the identity of what this Indiana program is going to be moving forward. And I think there's a bright future. I think there's some excitement around it, and I think there's a very bright future as to him being able to have a full offseason to recruit, him being able to have a full recruiting class coming in, him being able to have some roster continuity year over year, and then moving forward. I think there should be some excitement in Bloomington when it comes to the basketball program.
Yeah, and everything has changed as far as how you construct a roster. And I was just talking about a something I read from Evan Miyakawa yesterday, that a team's season's success is already determined at the start of the season by their roster ranking. However good that roster is, 80% of their success is going to come already. Other 20% are the variables, coaching, improvement, things of that nature. But 80% is set. Now, that's numerical and metrics, and I get that. But there's probably a lot of truth to that. Most teams don't get that much better. Of course, you're going to get better, but everyone's going to improve a little bit. But I found that fascinating by that, and there's probably truth to it. I'm not a numbers guy. I don't know. Numbers make my head hurt.
No, for sure. And building a roster, what we're seeing right now, looking through, there's some things that are consistent, but there's also what we're seeing is a bunch of different ways to be able to do it, a bunch of different ways to be able to come about the same result. When you have teams like the Dukes of the world, you have Houston, they're relying on freshmen. Houston has the Kingston Flemings, they have Chris Cenac, both starters and all. Obviously, Duke you have with Cam Boozer. But also what those teams have at the top is they have continuity, because also on that Houston team, you have Milos Uzan, you have JoJo Tugler, you have Emmanuel Sharp. On that Duke team, you have Isaiah Evans, you have Patton Gongba, guys who came back and stayed within the program. And I think what we're seeing, the consistency of the top teams, the teams that are at the very best, is that continuity. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be freshmen becoming sophomores becoming juniors, but bringing in guys from the transfer portal who have multiple seasons with the program, bringing in the freshmen that you think are talented enough that will stay with your program and grow within it, so that you can have a lot of your roster already put together. And then once you go to the transfer portal, be able to patchwork necessary needs. Do you need shooting? Do you need a big? Do you need this? But I think what we're seeing at the top, with all the parity that we have throughout the country this year, when it comes to the Big 12 being good, the Big 10 being good, ACC, SEC, all the parity, I think what we're seeing with the very best teams in college basketball is they have consistency within the roster, guys who came back from this last year's team, coming back again this year, and they're building and growing internally with a little bit of patchworking externally.
Yeah, it's been fun to watch, I'm telling you. But boy, Duke able to stay at the top. Kansas able to stay at the top. Michigan now joining them up there. But Houston, it's amazing that Houston has been so consistent over the last 3 or 4 years through these changes. And you got to give a lot of credit to Kelvin Sampson, who Indiana fans are going to just throw a fit over. Well, you can't even say that name without stone. You're like, oh, you say that name and you got to start ducking. But through all this, have they remained the most consistent team through these last 3-4 years as far as success? They haven't won a national title. I get that. But as far as being up there in that mix, man, they have just not left.
I haven't looked at the numbers, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're the top 2 or 3 teams in the country nationally over the past 5 years, win total over the last 5 years. I think you hit the nail on the head. They're consistently in that top 10. They're consistently contending for big games.
Yeah, and we'll look forward to that. The upcoming tournament, man, it's a free-for-all. We know that there are great teams at the top, like we mentioned, the number 1 seeds always, or the teams to look out for, Duke and Arizona and Michigan. Who's the fourth? Who's your fourth number 1 seed?
Well, I think you look through it. I think when you have the entirety of it, I think those 3 teams are on a tier of their own. I think those are the top 3 teams. I think if you're putting money down at this point in time right now, I would think that those would be one of those 3 teams would be your safest bet in order to bring return back. outside of that, there's a handful of other ones that I think could go in there. Obviously, you always have the UConns of the world who close down. We'll see how they close out, what they're able to do in the Big East tournament and everything. But I think when you have the top three that are there that you mentioned, and then you go from probably 4 to, 10, 11, 12, there's not really that much difference in those teams. And when you look at the resumes that they bring to the table, closing out the season this week and then going into the conference tournament play next week, I think that could play a lot into who gets kind of that, what seed line that you get on, coming through.
Yeah, and so one of the Indiana also, if they're able to make it in, they might be one of the more undervalued seeds because they're going to be so far down. I think Bracket Matrix has them as an 11 right now, which that should be where they want to be, an 11. You don't want the lower now. I mean, instead of, if you're very high, that's great. But if you're not real high, the further down you are, may be better because you don't have to play the number 1 or the number 2 seed right off the bat.
Well, it all comes down to matchups. Tournament play all comes down to matchups. You have some of the best teams, 16 seeds getting beat by ones. You have 2 seeds that get every year, all that stuff. It all comes down to matchups. And if you're Indiana, you want to be able to get the best matchup that you can possibly get, whether that's against a 4 seed or a 5 seed or whatever the case. Just getting in the tournament is huge year one, putting together an entirely new roster. And then at that point in time, you're kind of playing with house money. If you're able to get a win, if you're able to get to the second weekend, all that just adds to the resume and adds to the total story. Just getting in the dance is a big accomplishment year one. It's everything from there. It's going to be interesting to see how Indiana does because if their shots are falling, Indiana can be tough.
Well, yeah, there's no doubt about that. It's more importantly if the shots are falling and they're getting a little bit of help from guys like Sam Alexis or Nick Dorn who can add to that. That has been the secret sauce for this team, but it just hasn't been evident enough during the season. Going forward, man, it's how recruiting, it's changed. There's still, but unless you're an upper level 4 or a 5-star, why would a team or an upper level team recruit anybody other than that? Because of the transfer portal, because you need to always be as good as possible. And unless these guys are going to be able to contribute quickly, I'm like, sorry, I'm going to go to the portal.
Yeah, for sure. And it all comes down to now you kind of have a pecking order when it comes to spending and NIL and cap and all of that stuff with the room, where you have what you're willing to put forth toward a player. Looking at these high school seniors now, teams have to make a decision as to what do they want to put forth toward a player at a certain level. And what, again, as you say, are we going to be able to get the ROI year one? Is it going to be a year 2 or year 3? You still see a lot of colleges recruiting high school kids. You still see colleges want to get high school kids within their program and build and have them build throughout the process. You're seeing, up at Michigan, a Trey McKinney. He was a McDonald's All-American, but he wasn't a top 20 guy. But now he's earning his way into more and more minutes that you see. Guys coming in the high school ranks, you want continuity within your roster. Coaches are still wanting to recruit those guys, even if they're the lower level, borderline 4 stars, high 4 stars, wherever it comes into 5 stars. It's just the price point as to where they're coming at in order to build a roster, because you're having to put together an entirety team under this collective bargaining or the cap that there is now as to what it is. Excuse my wording. But now, you're having to put that together, and you're having the stuff capped as to what you're able to do, and you have to go through a third party with all the other secondary stuff. So, you have to put a roster together under that. Figuring that out comes from finding bargains, where you're able to find your biggest bargains at within the process. And a lot of that could come from the high school, as long as everybody's on the same page.
I think that has been the model that Kurt Cignetti has used for Indiana football. He finds bargains. He finds guys that they do make better players. And has been successful doing that. But going forward, Indiana basketball, they're going to have eight spots minimum to fill next year. That's if no one hits the portal or leaves otherwise. That's a lot. And that's a lot of money that has to be spent because all 8 of those guys need to be good. You need to go get 8 freaking good players. And now Indiana has Ryan Carr that they added from the Pacers as their quote unquote GM to assist with this roster building through this process. But, until the portal hits, you don't know who you can get. I mean, you know what your needs are, and you can go through that. Okay, here's our, 8 spots or whatever. We need this. I mentioned earlier, I said it was like Moneyball. We need this many runs. We need this many points from this position and this many points from this position. But how do you do anything before the portal even hits?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of tricky stuff. I know Joe Tipton with On3 put out an article a couple weeks ago about kind of talking it through as to how things happen. A lot of coaches, they get prepped. They watch film. They see who's having success at different schools and to get ready for in case somebody does enter the transfer portal. Obviously, you can't have direct contact with the person. You can't have direct contact with somebody close to the person on their behalf or anything before they enter the portal. That's against the rules. But you can be prepared, getting all your ducks in a row ahead of time with what you need, and then who could possibly be, there, and that you have previous relationships with, and all that going on as well. So, it's kind of a dance that they go through when it comes to it. But yeah, Joe wrote a really good article about that. I suggest anybody that's listening that wants to know more about the transfer portal, and also even more so about how recruiting goes on and all that, behind the scenes and everything. He wrote a really good one 2 weeks ago about that. Joe Tipton on 3.
If you're not a subscriber to On 3, then you're just missing out. That you're not fully informed on college athletics. I can speak to that for certain, with great guys like Jamie Shaw killing it on the recruiting side, Joe Tipton as well, and many, many more. So make sure to go to On3 and subscribe, or to thehoosier.com and do that as well. So we know the approximate number Indiana has to fill. What do they need to do different in their roster for next season than this season?
I think bringing a little more heat on defense will be interesting. I think a little bit more bigs. Bigs are always a thing. I think finding exactly what they want out of their big man and going out and being able to bring a couple of those big men in, and defensive first guys, and also obviously shooting. They want shooting. They want positional versatility when it comes to length and everything on the perimeter, and being able to replace the guys that they're losing when it comes to the shooting aspect. So being able to find shooters, shot creators, shot makers, along with guys who can guard at the point of attack, and along with bigs, I think will be major focuses for what this team's looking at in the upcoming offseason.
And what Indiana's incoming recruiting class, 3 4-star guys, Prince Moody, all these guys, they're very, very good players. What is your thought on these guys? Can any of them be expected to contribute early?
I think Prince Moody is somebody. I don't know if he can necessarily be a starting guy year one, but he's the type of guy who just kind of plays above his head at every single stop. He's one of those guys that comes in and brings an it factor to the floor to where he competes. It would not surprise me to see him getting quality minutes, competing for time, on the floor, at least getting into the rotation relatively early on, or at least by the end of the year, because he's just that kind of guy that connects the dots, elevates the floor. He can dribble, shoot, and pass to an advantage. He defends. He's got a toughness factor to him as well. To where it might not be the most dynamic player in the world, but what you see is winning qualities in there. So he could be somebody it would not surprise me to get into the rotation sooner rather than later.
Yeah, that would be interesting, because that's one thing Indiana is not getting right now: bench support. I mean, it's been crazy to see, but and then so they've got to put something together that can be a little bit more competitive than this year. Looking at Purdue is a unique situation. There was a stat yesterday, Jamie, that there are only 22 players going through senior night this year with the team they started with.
Mm-hmm.
22 out of how many thousand? Oh my God.
And it's wild. It's wild to look at, and you see it. But I also saw in that same stat, the Big Ten was the one that had, I guess, the most guys going through
10.
senior night for a conference. So
Purdue has 4 of those 10.
yeah, no,
and that's the question for Purdue now. They've had Braden Smith, they've had Fletcher Lawyer, Trey Kaufman-Renn, those 3 guys that played, that have started basically that whole time. They're going to be gone. And that, not that they won a national title or something like that, but that has to be filled. And that's been a very comfortable thing for Matt Painter to have. And now that's going to be gone.
No, 100%. And again, what you're finding is a lot of these good teams have the roster continuity. Again, it might not be guys that are there for 4 years as freshmen and everything, but what you're seeing, this Purdue team specifically, they have that continuity. They have the understanding. They have everybody, this familiar one another, and they patchworked it. Oscar Clough coming in from the portal. So the continuity aspect of things, I think, is big as to what coaches are looking for when it comes to their recruitment. Wherever that comes from, portal, high school, whatever the case may be, JUCO, Euro, overseas, international, the continuity year over year roster retention is big, and what a lot of coaches want to have when it comes to putting together a winning roster.
Who do you think wins it all, man?
Man, you're looking at it, this Arizona roster. At this point in time last year, you looked at Florida and you saw that Florida put together just a spectacular roster when it came to their bigs and their guards, shot creation, toughness, physicality. Arizona looks a lot like that this year. What they put together with their roster. Now they're just getting Koa Pete back into the swing of things as well, giving more depth and versatility on the perimeter. But man, John Shire and Cam Boozer are as good as any duo in the country. When it comes to John's ability to consistently put them into advantages and Cam's ability to perform at the highest level. I mean, he's been the most dominant player in college basketball this year, and it's not particularly close. So I would say Arizona right now, but obviously, the parity's high. It could be somebody that we're not even talking about right now that comes through and gets it done. It would be hard to vote against Duke on that as well. And then Michigan. I mean, gosh, man, the matchups they could get with the bigs.
Yeah, getting hot at the right time. But it was crazy getting that Duke Michigan matchup in the late in the season like that. That was like the NCAA tournament preamble or something, man.
And what a game it was too. Yeah, they both really showed out.
What is up next for you for On 3 and Rivals? You're killing it on the recruiting side. On 3 and Rivals is killing it on the recruiting side.
For sure. So we got conference tournaments and state championships being played right now, followed by the McDonald's All-American games. Then we have some USA basketball stuff that's happening, Final Four, and then the portal. So it's really now getting ramped up. Traveling is going to be pretty heavy over the next month or so, and then hunkering down in front of the computer and getting on the telephone and seeing where all the intel's going with the portal.
Will you be at the Final Four?
We'll be at the Final Four, yes.
Good. I will see you there. Look forward to it. Maybe we can grab a bite somewhere.
Absolutely.
I'll let you take me. I'll let you take me to St. Elmo's.
No, yeah, absolutely. No, the Indianapolis is a great city too, so I'm very excited about that.
Absolutely looking forward to it. Man, I can't thank you enough as always. Jamie Shaw with On 3 and Rivals. He is the recruiting guru. Go to On 3 and Rivals and make sure you subscribed. Actually, right now they've got a special national subscription for just $19, man. You get everything, and it is everything. There's nobody that is doing not to put you on the spot. What are some of there's been so many additions to On 3 and Rivals here of late that I don't think people know about. I mean, you've been there for well, you were with Rivals originally, but and On 3, so you're an OG. But they got a lot of lots of new stuff. What's some of the great things that are going on?
Man, so I think on March 1, we just brought over the premier Colorado team site. We just brought over the premier UCLA team site as well to kind of enhance the team offerings of big brands that we have. I think on the football side as well. Midwestern guy, maybe in Michigan, Alan True, came over from 247 Sports, brought in another gentleman on the national football side from 247 Sports as well, who's a longtime insider on that as well. So I think the national football side is just really, really, really ramping up. They're starting to regionalize, and everybody trying to get a lot of information flowing when it comes to both recruiting stuff, when it comes to player analysis, when it comes to collegiately transfer portal and all that as well. So the beautiful thing about this new offering that On3 is having, Rivals is having, is you get all of the national guys. So myself, Joe Tipton, Talia Goodman on the basketball side, and then all of the football players when it comes to Steve Wiltfong and Chad Simmons and Charles Power and the new guys coming over from Rivals, the new guys coming over from 247. Shannon Terry has done a great job of almost assembling the Avengers. It's almost, the A team, just getting the best of the best to come over to On3 and Rivals. And what this new thing does is it gives you access to all of the insiders. You don't have to in the past, what you did was you had to sign up through a team. So it had to be, in order to get a subscription, you had to sign up through Indiana. And then you would get the subscription and everything. Now you get to sign up just for the national readership and all that. And then you can convert that over to a team as well to be able to get the Indiana stuff also on the back end. So, it's a new stuff. Shannon's the most innovative guy in the space. I mean, heck, he created the space, and he continues every single day.
There's not even a word for Shannon Terry.
Yeah, it's amazing.
He's a czar.
It's incredible.
No, yeah, he is. I mean, there's no one that has dominated a single individual that has dominated any kind of communication space, sports space especially, like Shannon Terry. I mean, he is the most, and Shannon Terry is the founder of On3, the most innovative person that I've ever even heard of.
Without question. And the crazy thing about it is this is an industry that's 25 plus years old, and he's still finding new ways to change it and to shift with it and to stay ahead of the curve. He seeks out trends ahead of time and shifts On3's focus into being able to be on the forefront of those trends. It's unbelievable what he's doing. It's unbelievable to see and to sit in real time and to watch how it's grown. That's a whole other topic for a whole other day.
We could have an entire discussion about just that.
Yes.
About just the innovations and all of that, the rankings, the ranking system. I saw he put out that's something else that was created under his watch that is now the composite ranking, Rivals composite ranking. It's just it is the place to go. Period. That's all you can say. Buddy, I appreciate you. I don't want to keep any longer. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Rest up. Here it comes.
All right, Jim. I appreciate you always, man. Keep doing a great job, man. Keep knocking it out of the park over there.
Love you, brother. Jamie Shaw from On3 joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. A little more coming up. Back with it and more right after these messages.
Dave & Buster's Bloomington is the place to eat, drink, play, and watch. Enjoy half-price games Sunday through Thursday, plus a new menu and next-level upgrades like private game suites and the high-flying human crane. Only at Dave & Buster's Bloomington on South College Mall Road.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
You're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area? You need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington has the deals for you, like great savings on the remaining 2025 Hondas. First-time buyers get more than expected. The Honda Civic and HR-V are the most popular vehicles for first-time buyers in the U.S. Andy Moore Honda Bloomington also has a quality selection of pre-certified used vehicles. And check out the selection of Andy Moore Honda Bloomington's 2026 models, like the Honda Passport, Honda CR-V Hybrid, Honda Ridgeline, and more. ISP Radio with Jim Coyle is brought to you exclusively on The Zone by Andy Moore Honda of Bloomington, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer.
Bored, Bloomington? Dave and Buster's can fix that. Eat and drink your way through our new menu. Play half-price games every Sunday through Thursday. Watch your teams on the big screen and level it all up with the high-flying human crane. Private game suites and more, only at 731 South College Ball Road.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio. On this Thursday, you've almost made it through the week. Just one day left before the weekend. Hey, man, it went quick. Don't worry. And it's warming up. It's going to be a little rainy. That's okay. But, hey, I'll take rain and warmth any day as opposed to what we just had not too long ago. So, somebody mentioned Dane Fife. Saw Dane at the Indiana-Michigan State game. He's got a lot of connections there still, so it's good to see him. Hope he's doing well, but I hope everybody else is doing well. Are you getting ready to make your picks? Who is your pick to win it all? It's going to, man. Can anybody upset Arizona or Duke? Because prior to the Final Four, that would be an upset of big proportions. So can Michigan win it? I mean, yeah, they can. Who's going to be the 4th #1 seed? Yeah, that's a battle that is just brewing that will not be determined until the end of next week. Pretty certain through the conference tournaments. Other than the top 3 seeds, they're locked in. Locked in. Which is okay. It's not a bad deal. Arizona is just... Kansas is not a team that I see winning it all. They're really good, but they just seem to have a blip. And through 6 games, I cannot see them managing to make it through all 6 without another blip. Illinois. Can they win it really? They're really good. I think they could make the Final Four, but if I'm being completely honest, if I was betting money, no. I think Michigan might be the only team out of the Big Ten that can win the national, that could win the national championship this year. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that. But see, you just never know. I mean, hell, Illinois, Michigan State. What if they just get hot? It happens. We've seen it happen. Brian says Illinois is an Elite 8 team. They're definitely an Elite 8 team. And it wouldn't shock me for them to fight to the Final Four. I just don't see them as being able to get through Arizona to if you made it to a Final Four. I don't see them being able to get through Arizona and Duke, or Arizona and Michigan. It's just a lot. But hey, that's why we play the tournament. What about Miami? Hey man, can Miami win it? What number 2 seed gets knocked out this season? Good question. It'll be interesting. That's the fun of the tournament. Are these great crazy upsets? But I say that I don't want to see the really good teams get knocked out because you want to see the best play, and I don't want to see someone win it because this team got upset on some half-court last-second shot. I'd rather see later a good game between the two and someone actually get it. Can Houston sneak in and get that 4th seed? Can they finally break through and win a natty? Nebraska has not been playing all that great. It's going to be, Nebraska is going to be an interesting team to see what they do in the tournament because they were so, well, what the hell? They start off like 17. How many games did they go before they lost? But since then, let's see, where is Nebraska? 14-5 in the conference, 25-5 overall. Pretty damn good season. But in the AP and USA Today polls, they're 2-3 against teams in that. But that's probably Michigan State, somebody like that. Not a big deal. Nebraska's just going to be an interesting team to watch, to see what they do after the season they have had. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to the tournament. But first, you've got the conference tournaments coming up starting next Tuesday. I mean, the regular season ends on Sunday, and bam, you're at it. It's going on. Big 10, Big East, Big 12. I mean, there is going to be just a ton of fun basketball to watch beginning Tuesday. All day, every day, for weeks. The only thing that sucks about that is it's so awesome. You got all this. It's so many. It's so different from football where there are much fewer games. Well, here you've got a plethora of games and just so bountiful. You can't even watch. There's so many. And it's all together. And then all of a sudden, they're gone. That's part of what stinks about the basketball season comes to an end. It just like comes to an end. Boom. Gone. But we always have plenty more. Then now we've got the fun part with the transfer portal. Spring football. The month of May, baby, at Indianapolis. Kentucky Derby. Then recruiting goes wild. Then you're into the summer. Then July rolls around. You've got Big Ten football media days. Bam. Get after it. Fall football camp follows that. And guess what? It'll be here before you know it. It will be here before you know it. And then after last season, the last 2 seasons, I wonder what the tailgating situation will be like at Indiana. We'll find out. Guys, go out, have yourselves a great day. Stick around for glass. Appreciate you. We've got more to do tomorrow, and we'll be back. Until then, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.